Hello, I'm Honor Belew. Welcome to the From the Top podcast series, where we have interesting conversations with interesting business leaders. Today, we're here with Tess Partridge, who is the CEO and founder of two businesses, At Home Ads and iStroll. Thank you for making time to be here today, Tess. Welcome.
Thanks for having me, Honor. I'm super pumped to be here.
Awesome, great. Well, tell us more about what you do.
So currently I am running two businesses. The first is works very much like a fitness franchise. We are empowering moms who want a supplementary income to establish their own fitness business in their community, giving other moms the opportunity to get a really good workout in while building a network, which, as anyone who is a mother knows, is incredibly important, especially when your kids are younger. Uh, that business actually gave me the idea of at-home ads, which is monetizing private property for mini billboards or yard sign placement. So when I was growing iStroll, I grew my business by paying my community to put my yard signs in their yard. And what that did was it ensured my signs stayed in place for whatever duration of time I had arranged with the homeowner. And then it allowed me to kind of hyper target in the areas where I thought there'd be moms who would be interested in my services. And so that was kind of the where the foundation of at home ads was built, and we've taken it and ran with it and are trying to turn it into a nationwide thing.
That's amazing. I love, clearly you're very passionate about helping moms and helping women, and I think that's amazing. I feel the same way. I think that, you mentioned having a network, and I think that's important for everybody. And it's really nice if you can find somebody that you connect with on some level, right? So having the moms starting their own businesses and then having a network, that's fantastic. It's
Yeah.
great. So tell me about what are the big challenges that you've seen in getting your business going?
Oh man. Growing a business is it's like a new adventure every day, especially in the early stages. You wake up and I have a to-do list that is a mile long, and I oftentimes feel like as I'm chipping away through that to-do list, completing one task actually leads to another and not necessarily the next thing on my to-do list is probably the simplest way to put it. Right now it's just me and my partner. We are a two-person team, and that also poses its challenges just because I'm at the point where there are not enough hours in the day for me to neck down exactly what needs to be done and then get it done. And so, yeah, it's just really doing a good job prioritizing the task that should be grabbed by the horns per day, per se, and getting it done.
I work with a lot of business leaders, and I work with quite a few women. And I think for women, there are often many roles that we play, right? So it's business owner, mom, wife,
Hmm.
could be, you could have elder care, taking care of the house, all those kinds of things. And so you get pulled in a lot of different directions, even outside of your business, right? Let
Yep.
alone, like you said, your long checklist that you have of your business.
Hmm.
So what do you do to kind of take care of yourself and make sure that you make time to rest and recharge?
Um, right. So in the stage that we're at in with at-home ads, we're really fresh. So I'm okay acknowledging, and I don't want to say any business owner should, but I think it's really important to kind of block out time when you are launching a business to say, hey, you're grinding your butt off, and there's not going to be long vacations. There's not going to be spa days with the girls. Like by month 4 or 5, I mean, you have to slow down and pump the brakes and take that vacation, take those extra days off. But we are very much in grind stage. But with that said, I'm not working from 7 a.m. to 9 p.m. just on the business. I do currently wake up at 4:30 and work out for an hour. That's my Monday through Friday routine. that gets my workout out of the way and then allows me to prioritize basically being a business owner, wife, and mom for the remainder of the day.
Yeah, good for you. I mean, a lot of times people don't even protect that time, they put themselves last.
Mhm.
And I think it's important and that doesn't always happen either, right? If something with the kids happens or something with the business, it may not happen. But the fact that you're prioritizing it will help you be more productive and feel better about the day, I think.
It
So,
really does. I truly think a good workout kind of turns the brain on.
yeah,
I find on the days I allow myself to sleep in by 12 o'clock, I'm like, I need a nap. I'm like, well, that doesn't make sense. I slept in today. It's just, there's something about waking up and getting the blood flowing that it kind of keeps my energy level up for the remainder of the day, even if it equates to an hour less of sleep.
yeah, absolutely. And it's one of those things that you only really know it when you experience it, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Somebody
Once
can
you,
tell you all day long, but until you take that first step and try it yourself, you don't really get it. So,
yeah. I mean,
so
there's definitely, if I take too many days off in a row, then that the day that I do wake up at 4:15, 4:30 it's definitely a lot harder than when
yeah,
I've done it habitually for a week straight.
yeah,
Hmm.
exactly. Absolutely. Good. Thank you for sharing that. I think it's important for people to hear. And then I like what you said too about giving yourself grace, because a lot of times women are hard on themselves more so it seems about getting everything done than men are sometimes. And so I think being we don't always give ourselves the grace that we give others, right? And so being able to say, look, I'm getting this new business off the ground. It's grind time, and you know
Hmm.
this because you've done it before, and just putting your head down and working. So
Yep.
let's go back to at-home ads a little bit more. A bit. Let's talk about that a little bit more. So tell me, um, you and your partner, what really sort of inspired you to get this going? What kind of goals do you want to accomplish in the near term?
So the vision behind at-home ads, don't get me wrong, it's a business, but we want to essentially, the best way to put it is do well while doing good. And by that, I mean run a really successful business that people want to be a part of while doing good within communities. So currently, as a small business owner, which for a very long time is what I was with my fitness businesses, um, advertising and marketing, essentially letting your potential customers know that you're providing this service or product is the hardest part about having a successful business. You cannot have a successful business if people don't know that you're, you know, doing business.
Right.
So advertising marketing is a huge challenge. Right now, local businesses tend to pay out of state corporations, like big businesses, mega corporations, to do their advertising for them, and usually digitally, which there's nothing wrong with that. Digital advertising is really important. However, that space is so saturated, you have to spend an arm and a leg to make any type of dent in the zip code that you're trying to target, which for small businesses is usually what they're trying to do. They might be trying to hit one zip code, maybe two. Um, and so with at-home ads, our goal is to make it a win-win for the business and the local property owners and keep that revenue local. So right now, businesses are pushing all their advertising dollars out of state. But if they kept it in-house and were generating revenue at the local level, then your average community member could then take that money and go respend it at that same local company. Um, so really that's the goal with at-home ads is to do well while doing good.
Yeah, I love that. So are you targeting the businesses that want to advertise or the people that would be open to it? How are you going about reaching those people?
That's a good question. Those marketplaces are a little tricky. You're essentially, it's almost like having gears. Like you kind of have to turn on the gear for targeting the property owners because we can't facilitate any type of business without those property owners, and then kind of cranking that gear down and then cranking the targeting the advertisers up. So we have the gear cranked per se for getting those property owners, and we're sitting in a good spot in the territory that we launched in. So we are currently kicking that gear down and revving up the advertising opportunity for the local business owners.
Okay, great. So what area are you in? Where should we be looking out for some of these signs?
Yeah, so we are in Clarksville, Tennessee.
Okay.
We have lots of signs all over right now. When people downloaded the app and listed their property, I rented some of the more prominent locations or prevalent ones that had high traffic count. So we have signs all over that say advertise here, but my rentals are going to be up in the next couple weeks. So we're shifting gears so that those advertisers can come behind me and rent the same spaces.
Okay.
Hmm.
So fun, really exciting.
Yeah.
What would you say has been the biggest surprise to you as you've launched either business?
Oh man, that's a good question. Um, I would say the biggest surprise is how my personal network comes out, and people that I haven't talked to for years will message me, whether, text message or email or Facebook chat, and just be like, hey, like what you're doing is really cool. Keep it up. That is always such a pleasant surprise to see people come out of the woodwork and kind of just give me a pat on the back. And it's a really good, sometimes people don't realize, but those small gestures can give you steam to get through a day.
Right.
Sometimes you need that as an entrepreneur.
Right, exactly. I actually have a little file called encouragement. Sometimes when somebody just sends me a little one-liner note or something, I put it in my file.
Yeah.
Because sometimes you're having a tough day and you've got to go look at it, right?
Yep. I
Yeah.
had an ice roll owner. So one of our local ice rolls, the owner of that, it's actually down in Florida. She wrote me the sweetest note after she launched and got some of her first clients or moms, and just wrote me the nicest note about how she was so happy she had opened an ice roll, and whether she never made any money, just the fact that she had, a community of moms that she now got to go be around Monday through Friday while she was leading fitness, something she was incredibly passionate about. She was just so grateful. I have that note pinned to my, or not pinned, but taped to my bathroom mirror. So I get to read it every day just as a daily reminder that even on the worst business days, it's helping a single person, it's changing their lives, and that's enough to keep you going.
Yeah. I mean, that must have been very impactful for you to know, to realize the impact that you made on her.
Hmm.
Yeah, that's a good feeling.
Yeah, it really was.
So, Tess, could you share some of the biggest learnings you'd say that you've had in business or in life? It's kind of something that comes to mind.
Gosh, I could probably name a few. The first two things that came to mind. Number one being we have launched ice rolls and not all of them have been successful. Um, and not that our ice roll package in a box is not necessarily like 100% like guaranteed 100% success. But not everyone, what we've learned is that not everyone is cut out to be a business owner. It
Mm,
truly takes a particular personality type. And some people think they have that personality type until they actually start to do it. And then some people don't think they have that personality type and they actually do. Um,
mm,
and they just need that little push. But running a business takes a special tenacity, um,
yes.
to really get it off the ground.
Yeah, it
I
does.
would say the second thing I've learned is that it takes a supportive partner. Like I could not do this without the unwavering support of my husband, who is my cheerleader and, my business partner some days. He's my sounding boards when I can bounce ideas off of. He's my math guy. Sometimes when it comes to the metrics and the numbers, I can have a rough understanding of is this good or bad, and he can break it down to the penny and give us a direction of whether we should continue forward towards that or backpedal and divert to a different direction. But a supportive partner is critical when it comes to being married and running a business.
That's fantastic. And that's one of those things again, you don't really know until you experience it, right? You
Mhm.
hope that that would be the case, but I know it isn't always. I've, talked to people that's not the case. So that's
Yeah.
really great. Thank you for sharing that.
Mhm.
So Tess, how you mentioned success. How do you define success? And could you share an example of somebody that you think of when you think of the word success?
Yeah, I would define success as really creating a goal and reaching it. I don't necessarily define success by a dollar amount. I think success can lie in a dollar amount if that's your goal. But I personally view success as creating daily, weekly, monthly, yearly endeavors and seeking those out. And if I've accomplished them, then that's success. If that accomplishment has not equated to the overarching picture that I think it should, I don't know if I necessarily view that as unsuccessful. People that Two people that I think are successful are my parents. My dad was a immigrant who came to America when he was 9. My mom grew up incredibly poor, and they're by no means like mega millionaires, but they both put themselves through college with no help. My dad put himself through high school with no help. They both had really good careers and gave my brother and I great lives. Are they Steve Jobs? No, but to go from nothing to what they are, they truly fulfilled the American dream, and I would consider that success.
Awesome. That's got to be inspiring for you.
Hmm. It really
Um,
is. Yeah.
yeah, I mean, I think to have somebody that you grew up with to see how hard they worked. I'm sure they worked hard, and the things don't always happen the way that we intend them to, right? We have
Hmm.
setbacks, but how you deal with those, how you respond to them, and how resilient you are is inspiring, and that's a great role model for you. Have you always felt like you wanted to be an entrepreneur?
No, uh, I really didn't. I just was not exposed to entrepreneurs or people running their own businesses as a youth. I definitely was always a kid and young adult who beat to my own drum, and not in a bad way. I just wasn't opposed to if all my girlfriends were getting together for a movie on a Saturday and I just didn't really want to go to the movie. I had no issues being like, you guys have fun. I'm gonna go find something else to do. I didn't necessarily have to follow the crowd,
Mm-hmm.
and I didn't feel bad about it. But with that said, I didn't view that as an entrepreneurship mentality
Right.
until I married a guy in the military, had no clue what I was getting myself into, and realized the entrepreneur life was much more suitable for the
Mm-hmm.
military lifestyle than moving every year or two and having to apply for jobs, get a job after 3 months of applying, and then work it for 8 months before you had to start packing up your house to move to the next place. It's easier to have a business that you can
Yeah.
work from your house or, run yourself and not have to depend on someone else's time, schedule, and approval.
Yeah. And there's a lot of freedom and flexibility when you
Yeah.
have your own business, and when you once you experience that, it's hard to think about doing something else, I think, right? Once you kind of get that flexibility and you get to be creative and innovative and you actually get to implement the things that you
Mhm.
want to, it really it can be rewarding, and especially when, you come from a place of wanting to do good, as you
Mhm.
said. So that's even when you can tie that to your hard work to your purpose, then that's even more rewarding and encouraging, right?
Yes, it's
Well,
very true.
anything else that you'd like to share? Anything else that comes to mind about the business or your experiences that you think would be helpful to other people thinking about starting their own business?
I would say the best advice I could give to any entrepreneur out there is to start small. I think it's really easy to have these wild, lavish ideas and then think that you can't obtain them because it looks like it's going to cost hundreds and thousands of dollars and a lot of manpower. But I would advise to take that idea and maybe like minimize it to a singular focus or a smaller product and start there. And if it works, then keep building it up. So I've had a lot of friends who have these great ideas and they think they just can't do it because they don't have the money or time that it would take, and they can get there. They just need to sort of shrink it down to a smaller package and sprint towards that.
Just get started. Sometimes I think we get stuck thinking, we have these opinions that we need money, right? We need an investor or something. And
Mhm.
sometimes you just have to get started, and something it may be a little bit different than you originally thought, but it may get you going. And then you can realize that maybe you don't need $100,000 to get going, right?
Exactly. Yep.
That's
And it maybe if you do need that $100,000, but you've proven this concept at a much smaller scale, you might be able to find that investor who believes in your vision and you, and then gives you that money to build the lavish idea that you had originally.
right. But first you have to just get started, right? Just
Yep.
do something.
Yep. Exactly.
Yeah, move forward. Okay.
Yep.
Well, thank you so much, Tess. It was great talking to you. I'm really excited about what you're doing. I'm excited for you, and I'll definitely keep in touch and keep my eyes open for what you're doing, and I'll be looking out for your signs in the
Honor, it was
Nashville
such a
area.
pleasure to be here. Thank you for having me.
Good. Thank you, Tess. Let's see. Stop recording. Okay.
Was that okay?